Hello, hello, Nashville Propel family. We're gonna get some people some time to come on
Oh,
in here. If you guys can share right now to let everybody know that we are here for our weekly access denied show and get people on here to join us. Beautiful people, y'all looking really good today. Shonka got that hair laid and slayed. Vita, Vita always beautiful as ever. Torvis over there looking all shined up with that haircut. Yes. Come on now, Propel. Give it to them. Give them all the beauty and handsomeness that they can take.
I
I'm
like them specs, Bishop Hawkins. Ooh.
Thank you, Shonka. I'm trying
yes,
to liven up a little bit. I got a birthday next week.
yes, yes, yes. I am excited. Looks like we might be live on Twitter too. Hello, Twitter family. Welcome to the Access Denied Show. We do this weekly. We are Nashville Propel. We are the parents requiring our public education system to lead. And that's what we're going to do. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to organize parents. And we are going to develop them as a powerful parent leaders to ignite a movement. We ain't no group. We're igniting a movement, y'all, that demands equitable education
Yes,
policies and practices right here in Nashville. And that's what we're gonna do, y'all.
yes.
Exactly what we're gonna do. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Access Denied. We have a great show today. And so I want to take this time to introduce the people who are doing this work in Nashville Propel, my people. When we say who's got your back, they model who's got your back. And so I want to take the time out the first to give it to you and welcome Ms. Shonka Ducaray, who is a parent leader and organizer on the Nashville Propel team. What up, Shonka?
What's happening, sis? It's a delight to be with you and the rest of our team today. I look forward to the conversation.
All right, now then we got mic check, mic check. We got Mr. Torvis Garner, who is a awesome organizer and asset to our team. He is a
Yes.
father and he is a powerful parent leader. What's up, Torvis Garner?
Good afternoon. It's ready for the conversation. Get it cranked.
I know that part. I'm ready to go. And look, last but not least, we got the Miss Visha Hawkins,
Yes.
who is an asset to our team. She is our
Yes.
program director. She is the
Yes.
mind behind training our parents and making sure that we're moving this work forward in that category. Y'all help me welcome Miss Visha Hawkins. Visha,
Thank
what's
you. That was really nice. Thank you.
was that talking about me? Yes, I'm talking about y'all. So today, y'all, our show is going to be very interesting. But first, you know what? Like and share. Like and share. Come on in here, people. Come on in here. We're going to have a very, very interesting topic. Talk about a topic that's being talked about across the nation. But I got to shout out the parents of Nashville Propel, who actually started talking about the issue of learning loss back in March. So we saw it coming
Yes.
because we already knew that our children were behind. And so we knew the effect that COVID-19 could have on our children. And what we know is if we're not proactive and if we don't move with a sense of urgency, this could be catastrophic for all children in Nashville and abroad. And what we need to do is have a sense of urgency in addressing learning loss. We need to assess our children and see where they are,
Yes.
and we need to recover them and partner with families, teachers, and support staff to support our children on their strengths, their weaknesses, whether they're academic or non-academic. And that is the game changer for a lot of school districts, including MMS, who has struggled to increase academic achievement and in the state of Tennessee. So that is our topic today. But first, what I want to do is I want you guys to get to know our organizers a little bit, and I just want to just kind of just help people to relate to you guys. So we're into our 8th week of school, And I just want to know how it's been going for you and your family. And Torvis, we can start off with you if you don't mind. How has this time affected your family? And what do you think too about like this whole phased in model that we're moving into, where we're moving, our exceptional ed children into in person, and then parents had the option to choose. So let's talk about that a little bit. Torvis, how's it been going?
It's been different, really, really different. Just the structure, just the learning, getting on the computer, the access and different things like that. It's totally different being in person, and it's going to be a concern because when you're at home as a parent, you're trying to get the work done and they're getting the right answer. Versus when they're in school, they have different ways of doing things where the parents don't know exactly how the school model is going. So it's going to be really different from now and when the kids go back into school, because it's going to be like, we're doing it this way at home and we're doing it this way at school. And it's going to be really different for the kids to try to figure out, well, I've been doing it this way forever, how long this is going to take to be out of school. And now the teacher going to want it done this way. Now, as far as going back into the school, as far as the phase back into school, we still decided that our child's going to stay at home. But we still don't know everything that's going on. We still don't have all the information to make the right decision. And as you look in the article today from Tennessee, Cora House School opened back up. And it's September 16th or something like that. And they're already shutting down because they had 3 positive tests in the school, which this school is an exceptional education school for kids with fragile kids with, medical issues. And there was only 33 that attended, but they had 3 positive tests in the school system, so it's already shut down. Could you imagine being a school have 500 kids exposed to that and having to shut down again? So, like I said, we really still staying at home based just with that just happening yesterday, coming out in the paper today.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. And Shonka, let's hear from you. We're in the 8th week of school. How is it going?
So we in it just like everyone else. My son is we working with it, sis. It's been a struggle. He is behind and it's been hard to catch up. I have connected to an after school program that kind of helped me with that. So I'm fortunate that I have that resource to reach out to get a little help with him. But it's been a challenge. As far as the phase in model, I have decided to keep my son home, keep him virtual, because I am concerned about not just the core how what Torvis just mentioned, but if we even look into the news and see across our country how schools are having to shut down after opening for a short while. And I'm not quite sure, Sonia, if the reason being is because maybe the systems didn't really have safety plans in place like they may be articulating in emails and articulating in press conferences or whatever. Maybe it's not as thorough as it needed to be, and maybe they had to kind of retract it and seeing the, I don't know, stay with virtual.
Gotcha. And Bisha, as we've been training our parents through the fellowship, I know you have a grandbaby, but as we've been listening to our parents through the fellowship, what has been your perspective? Like, what are you hearing parents say that they are most concerned about, and what's keeping them awake at night? And what are we? Do you know of any parents that are really struggling with the decision, and why would they be kind of struggling with that?
Well, I think I'll go back to the poll that was, or the survey that the district sent out. And parents had 9 days or 10 days to respond whether or not they want to go back to in-person learning or virtual. And then if they didn't respond at all, they would have had to, by default, they would be considered going back to in-person learning. And so those results came back that 54% of the parents want to go back to in-person learning, in-person school, where about 46 or 47% wants to stay home. And I think, when I first saw those results, I said I would have loved to see the demographics behind those results, because just anecdotally, just the stuff that I'm hearing, like the parents that we serve, even though it's a struggle, even though, some of our parents may be single parents, some of our parents may not, have a lot of resources, but they want their kids at home. And because they don't trust the district to take care of their kids. And so that's what I'm hearing. And I'm seeing it play out over and over again on Facebook. Our very own Victoria Gordon, who posted on, she was cohort 3, I think, for our fellowship. And she posted this morning that, like, when she read the Core How article, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to keep my most valuable person in my life. I'm going to keep him at home. And, and we will work it out. We'll figure it out.
Yes. You know what? I wanted, speaking of, like Victoria. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Candace. Hey, Joycelyn. Who else we got on here? I don't want to miss nobody. Y'all see anybody? Can y'all see your people? I don't want to miss a shout out to our parents. Shout out to cohort 5.
Yadira Calderon.
All right. Y'all see anybody else? It's kind of hard for me to see from my.
I see Dion Davis on my personal watch party of our show. So want to shout him out.
All right. What's going on? Hey. All right. So shout out to everyone that has joined. Let me cut the volume down on here. Shout out to Matt Gonzalez. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for joining us. And I want to shout out cohort 5. Cohort 5 is our group of parents who are developing into parent leaders, powerful parent leaders. They will be graduating this Saturday at 11 o'clock. So shout out to cohort 5, as well as our cohort 4 fellow alumni who kind of like had their whole fellowship interrupted by the tornado and by COVID, but they persevered. We had to change the way that, kind of alter the way that we did our class by going virtual, as well as our organizing, right? And so they were troopers as we implemented our virtual fellowship. So shout out to cohorts 4 and 5. Look forward to seeing you guys. Social distancing, graduation on Saturday. So
if I could read a couple of comments,
Sonia. Absolutely.
So Yadira says learning loss is real. Compensatory services can help, but will not recover all that's been lost. And we parents must become teachers to be to the best of our abilities, or seek help from the community to find tutors to assist for free or minimal. There it is. Okay. And then Victoria, as I kind of said earlier, she said, I don't trust nobody with my kids. Yadira said, I'm keeping my kid at home. Yep. And Candace says, learning loss is real and regression is real.
Yeah, and it is real. So you know what? We're going to transition into that, guys. We're going to talk about the recent article in the news and the new information that was put out by the state education commissioner, Dr. Penny Swin, actually talking about learning loss. And first they started off talking about, the summer slide, which we already knew was real, right? Research data has proven that. And so the commissioner last Wednesday began to talk about learning loss and the impact that it's going to have on our students, especially those who are early learners. And she talked about the impact that this is going to have on our children and the possible impact it can have long term. And so a lot of people in the media have been questioning this information. And so it looks like, as I did my research, the sources of this information came from the Department of Ed. It came from CREDO and from the NWEA. And the data that they used was provided by the districts And it was based also on some beginning checkpoints and assessments done on children. I believe they used a pool of about 30,000 children here in Tennessee using past and present data. So it's not fictional information. They did not just fart this information out. We know that learning loss is real, but we already know that there's a summer slide. But what we have is 3 months of children being out of school on top of the normal summer slide that the children usually have. And so Nashville Propel has been talking about this for months. Because we have a sense of urgency. We represent parents and grandparents who have children that live in our most struggling communities and attend some of the most lowest performing schools in the state of Tennessee and in this city. We have what is called priority schools. They rank in the bottom 5% of the state. And so those children are already behind, not to their fault, because there's a system failure. And so we have charged the system to be proactive. And so one of the ideas or solutions, not an idea, but the solution that we're very confident is that each child needs an individualized learning plan. Okay. And what that encompasses is not an IEP. It actually wraps around that. An IEP would be included, but it's actually a plan. It looks at assessing the children and looking at their strengths, their weaknesses, putting in those interventions along with parent partnership. Because I heard Torvis say, we don't know where our children are. We didn't know where they are. We don't know how to help them. So there's partnership with the parents, teachers, and support staff to make sure that everyone is successful. It's not a punishment or a checkpoint on the teachers, but actually a lot of teachers don't even feel like they have the tools they need to be successful and do the things that they need to do for individual children. With teachers, we got the solution. We know that we have some great educators who would love this plan. We've gotten some great feedback from school board members, great feedback from the governor, great feedback from the education commissioner. We did our research, and earlier in the year, we met with the former Secretary of Education to the Obama administration, Arnie Duncan. We spoke with education experts, Robin Layton, Kevin Hubbins. We looked at best practices in the way to combat learning loss because we already knew. So I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to ask you guys to please continue to comment as we're talking, share your thoughts, but let's talk about that a little bit. Guys, what are you hearing from parents? What's keeping them awake at night about learning loss?
I think the first thing that's keeping them awake is just not knowing how much their kids have lost. You have to start there. I think the concern is the unknown and getting the proper assessment in place to see what they have lost, what they have retained, where the strengths are, going right back to our individual learning plan. And being able to have a real plan that they are aware of, that they are clear about, getting transparency from the school system and getting a partnership where they are informed and they are able to give critical input based on their knowledge of their own children as well.
And so what I hear you saying is assessing our children. So when we have an issue with our children, where this child might be exhibiting a hearing problem, or they may be running a fever, or they may have a rash, the first thing we do is we take them to the doctor and we have them assessed. We don't just walk into the doctor's office and they just give you a prescription for antibiotics and cream and carrying on. They assess, they diagnose, and then they write a prescription and have a plan of care. And so that is what we're calling on for our parents to be able to have their children assessed. Now, some parents I've heard are like against the whole MAP assessment that the district was doing. And so what I want to impress upon parents is you want that. Now, the issue, let's get down to the root of the issue. It's not the MAP assessment. it is the implementation that was the problem. As far as technology and digital divide. So have you guys been hearing anything from parents about having their children assessed? Torvis, are parents like on board with having their children assessed? Have they had any difficulty struggling with that concept?
Yes, they're struggling with the concept of getting them assessed. But another thing that parents are really coming to realization with is the fact that their kids were behind before this happened.
Yes.
Nobody never really knew where their kid was. You know, we talk to parents. Some parents have kids as seniors, and they find out they're reading on the 5th grade reading level, and they are infuriated because why come I didn't know this years ago? And here this child is about ready to go out to the real world, and this child it can't be competitive from just not being able to know things that they're supposed to learn in school a long time ago. And I think everything happened for a reason, and this was the best time for us to go back and correct what was wrong. With the individual learning plan, you should stop where you are now. If my child is in this 2nd grade, going to 3rd grade, if she gets into 2nd grade, let's go back and make sure she's got everything from 2nd grade, 1st grade on back, versus going on up into the 3rd grade. Now you have this big gap right here. And if you look at it, this whole thing's liable to go for a year. She can go up to the 4th grade and miss a year and a half of correct, instructions. So it's a lot to keep you up at night. There's a lot to worry about. And with this COVID-19 thing, it's really, really has brought out the real issues, what's going on.
Yeah. What about you, Visha? Any thoughts?
Yeah, so I think the testing question is a good thing to talk about, because the kind of the discourse out in the social media world is that testing is bad, especially right now. We shouldn't expect teachers to be evaluated on tests, which that's understandable. But it seems like people just kind of want to throw out the baby with the bathwater and just get rid of testing completely. As far as MAP testing, I've not heard of any parents really being against the MAP testing, but I think where I've seen an issue is that parents don't necessarily know how to read the results of the MAP testing. I remember about a year ago, a parent we were at a football practice, and a parent gave me his son's MAP assessment scores, and it looked like hieroglyphics to me. Like I did not, I didn't know what I was looking at. And he didn't know what he was looking at. So I don't know how helpful that is to parents if you don't know how to, decode the scores. And, do teachers, does it really inform teachers, on how to best prepare the kids to get them where they need to be?
Yeah.
And I've heard.
Go ahead.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
My son took the MAP assessment, and I think a lot of educators are fond of it. But to your point, Visha, the issue is parents don't know what they mean, and then there is a lack of plan or inclusiveness as to what to do about it, and a continuous plan. And I think that's what we're really, really advocating for. So to your point, yeah, parents need to understand what these assessments mean. And then teachers, they know that they're not penalized for MAP assessments. I think that they feel more penalized with Tennessee Ready. A MAP assessment.
I need to be clear on that. Sorry about that.
Not you. It's not, I've heard teachers say that. And that's why I'm saying they know that they're not, this is not about them. Stop making it. This is about our children. And it's time to focus on our children. Nobody's trying to penalize them. But I'm going to tell you something. We are going to penalize people if they don't recover our children. Now, that's what people should be worried about. Is if they're not proactive and making a sense of urgency, then they are held accountable for not doing anything and leaving and knowing that this is happening and not taking action. I think that they should be more worried about that. Go ahead, Shonka.
Sonia, thank you so much for bringing up that, because it made me think about our recent speaker series, and leadership was just talking about how do our children enter, pre-K, and coming in at 5 years old and are already behind. Now, here's the question. If as leadership, you know this, you have the data, and you know that our children are coming in by 1 year behind, how do you adjust? How you educate that particular demographic? Again, individualized learning plans. How do you address that demographic need so that's no longer an issue? And even if you have to go into the community and have the conversation to see we need help with this, and this how we need y'all to help. But don't keep saying that this is the issue, this is the issue, this is the issue, but ain't nobody talking about the solution, because here it is. The kids come in as they come in. They did not ask to come in that way. That's the way they come in, sis. So then how we gonna get at it? How we gonna take care of it?
Come on now.
Don't
Come on,
come
baby.
in. This is
Come
a
in.
community issue. Yes, it's a community issue, and it's an educational issue, because y'all got the
Come on, sis. Come on. They
Shonka
come
said
in.
the kids come in how they come in.
Come on
And
now.
we need to figure it out.
Come on.
And if you think about it, they coming in behind. They saying they're coming in behind, and then they going through school. So it sounds like to me they're behind before, during, and after. Because when a lot of them graduate, they still behind.
Come on now. And so this is what I know. We've got to stop saying we don't have money. One of the problems is, how are we really using this individualized per pupil money? We have to look at more innovative ways. We've got to strategically plan for these children. We've got to stop being so reactive, because that's never successful. And so, MNPS has the opportunity to implement the game changer, and to lead and model this in this city, this state, and this country. And so I pray that they seize the opportunity in the life of the opportunity and do it before it's too late. Because that's how we've always done things. They get on the priority school list. Like, what were we doing to prevent those schools from ranking in the bottom 5%? We always talk about equity, right? This is the best way that anybody has come up with to be equitable. Like, I hear that word all the time. Equity. We need equity. All right, we got a plan for equity. Let's do it. Let's stop making excuses, because we cannot make excuses and educate children at the same time. We just can't do it.
We can't keep planning to plan and keep planning to plan to plan. Everything's about a plan and plan to plan. Sometimes you got to take a plan into action. I'm planning and planning for something and it never happens. I just wasted my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ask the same question all the time, and I'm going to keep asking it until I get a satisfactory answer. And that is, and whenever I hear somebody blaming parents, is it just reasonable to expect, like, if a kid is going in behind, and I don't know what that means when you're in kindergarten, maybe you don't know your ABCs, maybe you can't count to 5 or 10. I don't know what that means, or 100. I don't know what that means. But is it reasonable for parents or families to expect that kindergartner can be ready for first grade at the end of kindergarten?
Yeah.
Can parents expect that? Is it okay to expect that?
It is. We if they don't do nothing else, teach our children how to read, work on our children's strengths, inspire our children. Children, another thing that we need to talk about too is, the parent blame, and then the low expectations of our children just because they come from struggling communities. Like, it's just assumed that because they Black and they poor, or they don't live in the most affluent neighborhood, that they can't learn. And it's just not true. And I just feel like we've got to get people to understand it's not true. And so one of the things that we're doing is making sure that the unheard voices are heard. These children matter. Yes. They're worthy. When they were born, their parents had visions for them. And those visions need to come to pass. And parents, your children deserve the very best. And I see here Miss T-Lo Tasha Horn Ballard. Girl, you got a long name. She said, I got an IEP meeting today and I'm sick of it. Because the entire meeting, all they ask is, what do you think we should do? Wow. My answer is, you're the professionals. You are supposed to tell me. You are so right. Not just tell you, but partner with you. Give you some guidance. Give you some options. Give you a clear assessment of what's going on with your child so that you can participate in your child winning. An IEP, an individualized education plan, is a plan in which your children should meet their goals. They should be meeting their goals. It's not something that should be holding them back. And in this situation, it sounds like they're putting more of a barrier in place rather than actually helping your child. And I'm sorry about that. If you could please inbox us, Tasha, and one of our organizers will contact you, because we want to hear more about this. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. And yes, you should be sick of it, because parents are tired of going to meetings and chasing our tail and being told it is our fault. So you should be tired of it, but we're gonna get tired of it together, baby. Carrie Chris says, she said, work the plan. So as do we have any more comments that we want to talk about on this subject, or we can transition to our next segment? Let's go into our next segment. Let's talk about public comment about to come back. Fired up. Ready to go. So for months, the board has had meetings, social distancing virtual meetings, and parents have not had the opportunity to talk about the issues that they care the most about, and to allow board members to hear from us publicly. That is so important, that parents be able to publicly comment on the things that they're worried about. So the next public comment is October the 13th. That's a Tuesday. We will be forwarding more information about that. I think the last one was February 12th. Wow. Any thoughts about that, guys? What y'all think about that?
Well, the main thing we was talking about is including a plan that includes the teachers, the parents, and the kids. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't want to have the public comment, I don't want to hear from you. Mm-hmm. It's dropping the parents out of it from right there.
Yeah.
Just like Miss Tasha Horn Ballard just said, they always want to say, what do you want me to do? Mm-hmm. Well, you won't even give us a chance to even talk in public about it. Mm-hmm. So don't just say, send me your kids, send me your money, and I don't want to hear from you. Mm-hmm. But then when something go wrong, what you want me to do? Yeah. So a conversation is the best thing that's going on, especially through right now. You need to hear us, we hear you, and we need to have a conversation about it. Just don't say we don't want to hear no public comment. So that's a good thing coming back. So they hadn't heard from parents since February.
February 12th was the last board meeting. But thank you to the board members who heard us loud and clear, right? For getting this up and running. Shout out to parents for using your voice, taking action, emailing, calling, and amplifying the voice of people across this city. So shout out, to those board members who are actually listening. Shout out to Emily Masters, who is now chair of the advocacy policy. So we look forward to hearing her vision for advocacy in MNPS. So shout out to her. Let's look at some comments. Hey, Yvonne, what's going up? Yvonne Johnson. Who else we got on here? We got Carrie. Who y'all singing on here?
Yep. Carrie Cress.
Carrie Cress. Shout out to Carrie in what cohort?
Cohort 5.
Cohort 5. She graduating on Saturday. All right. Catherine. Thank you for joining us, Catherine. Who else we got on here? We got to shout out Chandra Sims, Camila Payne Matthews, 18 Anthony, Brandy Robertson, Tierra King. Who else we got on here? I got to shout out to my people. I got to tell them hi, y'all. We got to tell them hi. We listening to them. Y'all comment, chime in. Hello, Felika Smith. What's going on? Welcome to Access Denied. So as we're like closing out, guys, like any closing thoughts about our current state of education as it relates to learning loss, our campaign for individualized learning plans. Shonka, you look like you ready to say something. Go, baby, go.
Oh man, you know what, Sonya, I'll be having so much on my mind, sis, but I just think that we just gotta get to it. We gotta go back to valuing the innocence of children, singing them as just that, understanding that we have to undergird them in every way, in every place that we hold position. It's not just the parents, it's just not the teachers, it's just not the leadership, it's just not the community, it's all of us coming together and finding the solution. The last thing I want to say, just based on my comment earlier, I was talking about that learning loss that our kids are entering a kindergarten with. Now imagine this, when I had my babies, before I left the hospital, I knew how to get my WIC. I knew how to sign up for my children's disability. All of that took place right there in the hospital. Now, imagine if our educators and our parents and the community get together, acknowledge that there is a deficit when our kids first enter, and then talk to those parents when they first give birth, and they see an educator or they get some kind of packet to say, this is what you're going to need to make sure that your child learns before they get to us to help us move it along. See, the thing is the conversation. The thing is not assuming that no one cares. Assume everyone cares, and we just need to talk about it and come up with the plan. You feel me?
I feel you. And so Nashville, one of the things that we're doing is we're partnering with United Way to look at early childhood learning and look at ways and tools and resources that can help our children to be more prepared when they come into school and become kindergartners. So, thanks to United Way for that partnership for parents to be able to talk about their early childhood learning experiences and be able to give input and feedback because what we know is there is a science to reading, and the information that parents have been getting for decades is that if you read to your child for 30 minutes, then they're supposed to learn how to read. Damn lie. It don't work. And so we got to start following the science and the research and to make sure that we also are teaching our educators how to teach children how to read. Most of you don't know, under the sound of my voice, that when your teachers go to college, they're not taught how to teach children how to read. They are not taught how to teach children how to read. So you've got all these different people with these philosophies that probably didn't learn to read right themselves, teaching other people all these various ways and all these various classrooms how to read with a one-size-fits-all myth. Read to them 30 minutes. Lie. And so we've got to get more innovative. We've got to change the mindsets of those who have closed minds. And so, I don't know if Visha wants to chime in on that before I leave that conversation. I know she's very passionate about literacy.
No, thank you, because I will.
Good. So I'm gonna close out like
on and on.
I know. I was looking for an amen, sister. That's all.
Amen, sister.
Yeah,
amen.
Amen.
I can say amen.
So I just want to kind of just close us out. Thank you guys for using your voice and just kind of talk about some of the things we got going on. So we're having our parent training tomorrow night. So I'll see all of you tomorrow at 6. And then we have our cohort 4 and 5 graduation on Saturday at 11. Boop, boop, boop. You know the time, you know the place, be there. Looking forward to that. And then next week we'll have our Monday update, but there's going to be a little bit difference for Access Denied. So I need you guys to listen up closely to what's going on next week. So we're not going to be here at 11 o'clock on Wednesday for Access Denied. We're having a special edition, guys, a special edition next Thursday at 6 p.m. So mark your calendar right now, and you don't want to miss the Access Denied special edition. We're having a show, and the title of that show is The Right to Be Taught How to Read. And so our special guest will be Zach Barnes. He's assistant professor of special education at Austin P. And then none other but international reporter Emily Hanford for APM Reports. She's a senior correspondent and producer. We'll be talking about the right to be taught how to read. We will discuss a story that I was featured in, and my son was featured in, what the words say. Our Twitter family, I know you guys are following this story, so you don't want to miss as we review the story and we talk about the issues packed behind this issue of learning loss, of not teaching our children how to read. Bisha is also featured in that story, and the show will be moderated by our own John Little. So that is October the 8th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is going to be a show that you don't want to miss. Please, we're getting ready to send out the flyer with the details that will go live on tomorrow. So please share it. Please invite. The show will be broadcasted right here on our Facebook and our Twitter account. So thank you guys in advance for joining us for that show. And I think that's all we have.
Don't forget about the grant.
Oh, yes. The grant. There is a grant that will help with mortgage and rent. And so can we drop that into the comments? Thank you, Torvis. It is
on the Facebook page.
It's on the Facebook page. Okay. And what this is, it's an opportunity for people in the community to get help with mortgage and rent relief through New Covenant Christian Church. We are dropping the link. Make sure if you need assistance that you fill out the proper information in the link. Don't be afraid, and be vulnerable if you need help, and do this. The other thing I almost forgot. Guess what, y'all? It's what y'all been waiting for. We done had people asking. Tomorrow, Nashville Propel, our website goes live. And so we're very excited about our website being launched. So look for that tomorrow morning. Let us know what you love about it. Send us a message. And it just helps us to be able to organize more efficiently, and to also be able to hear from you guys. So thank you. Make sure you guys go to our website tomorrow, NashvillePropel.org. And we will see you on Monday with an update. And then on Thursday night, October the 8th, right here, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, grab your box of tissue. I can almost commit that I'm going to cry. I always do. So make sure I'm not going to wear any eyeliner or mascara. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So see you guys later. Love you. And I'm going to end the broadcast. Bye-bye.